Hello! Welcome to another Clarinet Mentors educational video designed to help you play the clarinet more easily. I'm Michelle Anderson, founder of Clarinet Mentors, and I've been a professional player and teacher for about 30 years. Today, I just have a really quick maintenance trick to teach you about. It's something that you can do at home quite easily, and I recommend you do it about once a year. So you're not going to need to access this video very often, but if you haven't had this done to your clarinet for a while and you've been playing it for a few years, likely it's something you need to do. What I'm going to show you is actually how we clean out the hole that's right here behind our register key. You've probably noticed when you run your swab through the clarinet, there's that little metal post in there that your swab sometimes gets stuck on. What tends to happen, probably because of our swab getting stuck and other things, that little metal tube, which comes from your register key into the bore of the clarinet, gets clogged up with dirt and lint and other things. And then this hole doesn't quite open and resonate as well as it should. The main note you're going to hear it on is your throat tone B flat. And what I mean by throat tone, that's what we refer to these notes here at the top of the clarinet, our open G, our A, and our B flat. Now B flat is the note, of course, that uses the A key and this register key. Really, the register key is designed to play high notes, not to play B flat, so traditionally it's not a very good note on clarinet. I have a separate video here on the YouTube channel that shows you some additional fingers you can try adding to your B flat called resonator fingers, and it does make the B flat sound better, so I do recommend you check that video out. Meanwhile, for today, we're going to talk about how we can improve the sound on that note. So the best sounding B flat on the instrument is to play the A, and then over here we have our four side keys, the second hole. So if I try that B flat, it actually sounds fairly nice. If I use my register key, it sounds a lot fuzzier. Here's the side key, register key. So you can hear it's more muted and fuzzy. I do try and use this side key one when I can, but the truth is that most of the time that's an awkward fingering to get to, and we do end up using this B flat a lot of the time. If that post is clogged up or full of any kind of dirt or gunk, it makes the B flat even worse. It's pretty easy to clean out, so that's what I'm going to show you how to do. What you will need in hand is a little screwdriver, small screwdriver, which is a really handy tool for you to have. And I'm going to take a look at my register key right here. Now if we look at it up close, you can see that right underneath the register key here, right where I'm pointing, there is a little metal spring, and it goes into a groove that sits right underneath this key. That spring is attached to this key, so we're not really in danger of losing it. There's other keys, or if we start to take them off, things might pop off and fly around, and that's not so good. But usually what I do is right along the screw line here, I hold it in place, I take my screwdriver, and I'm just going to unscrew that screw. Now it's quite a long screw, but it only actually has threads for maybe about 3 or 4 millimeters. So by the time I've turned it and it's sticking out about as far as you can see it right now, it'll usually start to pull out, and if it doesn't, just keep unscrewing. Now as we pull it out, I am holding on to that key so it doesn't fly. I'm going to make sure I put my screw in a safe place so that it's easy for me to come back to later. But we can see how this key actually comes off quite easily, and what it'll show us is our metal tube right here that often gets a little bit dirty. All we need to do at this point is to clean it out. So I've got a toothpick here, and I'm going to stick it in there, and I'm simply going to push out any debris that's there. Now this will put it inside my clarinet, so the other tool that I want to have handy is my swab, and I want to make sure I clean that up. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll sort of peek through the clarinet and notice what comes out, and often you'll see that there can be quite a bit of lint stashed in there. You can even blow the lint through and check out what's there. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'll pause the camera, I'm going to get my swab out, and I'm just going to swab it through. Now in fact, once I took my mouthpiece off and I looked through the tube here, I could see that there was a little bit of dust and dirt that did come out of that tube, so that's a good sign. If there was stuff in there that I'm clearing out, it means my instrument's going to sound better now that that hole is unobstructed. So I give it a quick swab, put my mouthpiece back on, and of course I have to put the key back in place. And again, that's a fairly simple process because the spring is already attached to the key. So you'll notice there's a bit of a groove here in the wood that our spring is going to slide into. So we do need to make sure as we're putting the key back on that we're lining that spring up into that groove. And the only part that's tricky here is as we're pushing this in is just to make sure we're lining up the tube inside our key here with the two posts on either side. You can see the screw itself is straight for most of it, and just at the tip here are the actual bits of the screw that screw in. So I push it in so it's more or less lined up, and then I'm just going to take my handy dandy screwdriver and I'll screw that back in place. Now that I've screwed this back in place, I'd like to play test my clarinet and see if I've improved my B flats. So even without any resonator keys, let's see if that's made a difference. For sure. And I suppose if I splice together on the movie my before and after, we'd hear that it's less fuzzy. Much easier to hear in person in my studio here where I try it. It feels much more responsive and free blowing. So as I say, I do that about once a year. And if I have a student sitting here with me and I notice that their B flat is especially bad, keeping in mind it is not a great note on the clarinet, we'll do that. The whole process takes only about 3 minutes to do, and it can make a big difference to those notes. And as far as I'm concerned, anything we can do to help that B flat is worth doing. So I encourage you to try that on your own at home. It's pretty easy to do, especially if your clarinet hasn't had any work done for a couple years. It probably could use doing, and I think you'll notice an improvement. If you've enjoyed this video, it's actually part of a series of free videos designed for clarinetists all over the world, and you can have them delivered to your email box in the Clarinet Mentors newsletter, which comes out every 2 weeks. It's totally free. You can sign up for it by going to the link under this video, www.learnclarinetnow.com. Very easy to do. You can try it. There's no charge. If at some point it's not a good fit for you, it's really easy to unsubscribe. But I really invite you to join. And I also invite you to add comments to the comment box below this video. I love hearing from you. I'd love to hear any pointers you might have on things you've done to help fix up your clarinet or things you've done to help that B flat. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next Clarinet Mentors video.